Good evening, Anne. By the way, I am Shamini Kaiwat, and now I will discuss about what I have learned in Kohlberg's theory of moral development, Vygotsky's social-cultural theory, and Ron Penbrenner's ecological theory. So, about Kohlberg, uh, stages of moral development. There are three main stages to Kohlberg thesis. There are two stages in the moral development process at each level. Kohlberg held that not everyone advances to the highest stage of moral growth, much like Piaget thought not everyone reaches the highest level of cognitive development. In level 1, pre-conventional morality. So when we say pre-conventional morality, is the earliest period of moral development. It lasts until around the age of 9. At this age, children's decisions are primarily shaped by the expectation of adults and the consequences of breaking the rules. Stage 1, obedience and punishment. The earliest stages of moral development, obedience and punishment are especially common in young children, but adults are also capable of expressing this type of reasoning. According to Kohlberg, people at this stage see rules as fixed and absolute. Obeying the rules is important because it is a way to avoid punishment. For stage 2, and then individualism and exchange. At the individualism and exchange stage of moral development, children account for individual points of view and judge actions based on how they serve individual needs. So, in level 2, conventional morality. So, conventional morality is the next period of moral development is marked by the acceptance of social rules regarding what is good and moral. During this time, adolescents and adults internalize the moral standards they have learned from their role models and from society. This period also focuses on the acceptance of authority and conforming to the norms of the group. For the stage 3, developing good interpersonal relationship, often referred to as the good boy or good girl orientation, the stage of the interpersonal relationship of moral development is focused on living up to social expectation and rules. There is an emphasis on conformity, being nice, and consideration of how choices influence relationship. And stage 4, maintaining social order. This stage is focused on ensuring that social order is maintained at this stage of moral development. People begin to consider society as a whole when making judgment. The focus is on maintaining law and order by following the rules, doing one's duty, and respecting authority. With the level 3, post-conventional morality. This level of moral development, people develop an understanding of abstract principles of morality. For the stage 5, social contract and individual rights. The ideas of a social contract and individual rights cause people in the next stage to begin to account for the differing values, opinions, and belief of other people. Rules of law are important for maintaining a society, but members of the society should agree upon the standards. For the stage 6, universal principles. Kohlberg's final level of moral reasoning is based on universal ethical principles and abstract reasoning. At this stage, people follow these internalized principles of justice, even if they conflict with laws and rules. So, according to what I read, Kohlberg believed that only a relatively small percentage of people either reach the post conventional stages, or around 10 to 15%. One analysis found that while eh, stages 1 to 4 could be seen as universal in population throughout the world, and the fifth and sixth stages were extremely rare in all population. For the week 8 is all about Vygotsky's social cultural theory. So Vygotsky's social cultural theory of human learning describe learning as a social process and the origin of human intelligence and society or culture. The major theme of Vygotsky theoretical framework is that social interaction plays a fundamental role in development of cognition. Vygotsky believed that everything is learned on two levels. First is through interaction with others, and then integrated into the individual's mental structure. Every function in the child's cultural development appears twice. First at the social level and later on the individual level. First between people and there is psychological, and then inside the child intrapsychological. This applies equal to voluntary attention, local memory, and the formation of concept. All the higher functions originate as actual relationship between individuals. So, a second aspect of Vygotsky theory is the idea that the potential for cognitive development is limited to a zone of proximal development, or ZPD. This zone is the area of exploration for which the student is cognitively prepared but requires help and social interaction to fully develop. A teacher or more experienced peer is able to provide the learners with scaffolding to support the student evolving understanding of knowledge domains or development of complex skills. Collaborative learning, discourse modeling, and scaffolding are strategies for supporting the intellectual knowledge and skill of the learners and facilitating intentional learning. The sociocultural theory of Vygotsky is an emerging theory in psychology that looks at the important contribution that society makes to individual development. It is called a sociocultural theory because this theory highlights the interaction between the development of people and the culture in which they live. It suggests that human learning is very much a social process. And also, one of the main benefits of scaffolded instruction is that it creates a supportive learning environment. In a scaffolded learning environment, students are free to ask questions, provide feedback, and support their peers in learning new materials. For the week 9, it's all about Bronfenbrenner's ecological theory. Bronfenbrenner's believed that a person's development was affected by everything in their surrounding environment. he divided the person's environment into five different levels: the microsystem, the mesosystem, the exosystem, the macrosystem, and the chronosystem. So the first is the microsystem. Microsystem is the layer closet to a child and contains the structures with which the child has direct contact. At this level, relationships have impact in two directions, away from the child and toward the child. For example, um, a child's parents may affect his behavior, but the child also affects the behavior and belief of the parents. Bronfenbrenner's shows how these bidirectional influences occur at all levels of the environment. And about the mesosystem, this layer provides the connection between the structures of the child's microsystem. Examples: the connection between the child's teacher and his parents, between his church and his neighborhood, or etc. And for the exosystem is the layer that describes the more extensive social structure, which the child is not a direct part of, because of an interaction with the certain microsystem structures. The structures in this layer have an effect on the child's development. For example, include parental work schedules or family support services available locally. At this level, the child may not be directly involved, but he is still affected by the interaction with his own system, whether it is positive or a negative. The macro system is the environment's top layer, or the child's environment. This layer is made up of cultural values, custom, and laws, even though it lacks a specific framework. The interaction between all other layers are cascaded by the effects of the largest principle defined by the macro system. For instance, a culture is less likely to offer resources to support parents if it holds the view that parents should bear sole responsibility for raising their children. The structures where the parents work are subsequently impacted by this. The macrosystem of the child has an impact on the parents' capacity or incapacity to fulfill this responsibility towards their offspring. The role of school and teachers. According to Bronfenner's theory, it has given parents and teachers a framework for developing fruitful relationship and creating a supportive environment for the child. The child can grow and succeed to the fullest extent possible with close relationship and a positive environment. And that would be all. Thank you.